Slamdown is sponsored by WWE SmackTalks and Impact Fan Nation. Welcome to another episode of Slamdown with me, your host, Ashley Friend. We're going to be covering everything SmackDown Live. I will admit it was probably a better episode of SmackDown. There's a few parts I didn't like. I'm really not liking what they're doing with the women part. I don't think it's right, if that makes sense, because when they said about the points of that women have done this in the past, certain divas, sorry, I got myself completely muggled then, with the men's Money in the Bank, where there's been interference and stuff like this, but their counter argument was that no man has gone up there and took the title down and passed it down. So I get that point. I don't agree with them taking it off Carmella, because there is no rules in Money in the Bank. You know, it's a ladder match to go for the briefcase. You know, there's no rules on who can't go for the briefcase or how the match has got to be won. It's just grab the briefcase. Maybe they need to sort of slightly change the rules. Maybe make the rules so you can only win the match when you unhook the briefcase. So if they did it that way, James Ellsworth wouldn't have counted because Carmella didn't unhook the briefcase. You know, but I can get why they're trying to do it as a story, as an angle, trying to go something different. But I don't know if I like it. I don't think it was the great way to go. I think WWE at the minute, I just get bored of WWE at the minute. I'm just not really liking their creativity. I know it's personal preference, and I know some people might like different to what I like, but yeah, I'm just really not enjoying the WWE. SmackDown was good in parts, but I can't say it was amazing. I can't say it was the best, because if I'm honest with you guys, it really wasn't. It gets annoying to an extent where I'm here complaining about Raw, about SmackDown, or even when I'm starting to complain about Raw. I don't really like complaining about the WWE. I want to be able to sit here and go, do you know what? It was there was a good match, but I really can't, and I just don't like being critical. I really don't. I'm a positive guy, and I really hope things are good. But regarding the way the WWE is, I can't say it's good. Now, I know there's a lot of WWE fans, and I know a lot of them are going to disagree with me, but if you compare it to other promotions out there and what other promotions are doing, WWE is not on the same level. Creatively, it's like they have the best roster. You know, even Maddox has even come out and even pointed this out, that they have the best roster, but that they've also got the worst writers. And that's the truth. You know, I totally agree with Maddox. You know, I've been saying it show after show after show, is people are like, for Roman Reigns, for example, you know, people blaming and booing Roman Reigns for the way he's being. That's not him being like that. That's the writers. That's Vince. So, people that have a problem with it should be pointing it at them. For example, if Vince McMahon's in the ring, say he comes down for some reason on a show, that's when you need to say WWE sucks. Your writers suck. Now, he's not going to enjoy fans chanting that when they're live on telly. That is going to annoy him. But it's also going to show him that the fans are not enjoying the product. They're showing their emotion that they're not enjoying the product. And that's the only way things can change. You know, you've got to do something that's going to affect them for them to think, you know, to look at things. Because at the end of the day, it's fans that buy the tickets. It's the fans that turn up to the show. You know, if fans stopped turning up at the show and fans were chanting this stuff and not turning up, then that would cause them issues. But let's get back to this. Yeah, I really didn't like what they're doing with Carmella and James Ellsworth, but I am enjoying that Carmella is being pushed. Because I think Carmella is a good wrestler. You know, we always see like Becky Lynch or Charlotte, you know, them always getting pushes. So it was nice to see that, you know, Carmella being pushed as a credible wrestler. Because if you look, when they push, I want to say the underdogs in the WWE, they do really well. You know, you look at Alexa Bliss. No one thought Alexa Bliss could be this good. But she was pushed, she was used correctly, and she got over big time. So this is the one thing, you've got to use a wrestler correctly. You've got to book them correctly. You've got to portray them in the right gimmick, in the right character. You know, to me, there's not many great wrestlers that have been used correctly. The only ones that come to mind is The Miz, AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, can't say Roman, Seth Rollins, you know, they're doing well with him. Jinder Mahal, I know people are behind him, but I'm not. You know, I've said this for a long time, he should have been built up gradually, slowly been pushed up the ranks. The way he's being used now, it just feels kind of cheap, kind of boring, kind of... He's only being pushed because of what Impact's doing and not because he deserves it. Or they've worked him up to it. That's how that feels. Or the other reason could be Vince likes the muscular guys. He's got really muscular. That's why they're giving him the push. You know... Vince has never been for guys like Finn Balor, for example. He's never been behind them type of guys. He's always been for the big, muscular guy. You know, look at the Goldberg signing, for Christ's sake. Look at Brock Lesnar. Look at Roman Reigns. They're the bigger guys. And that's what Vince has always pushed. That's what Vince has always gone for. You know, we could hope they could go for something else and push something else, but we know that's never going to happen. It's always the big guys that are going to get over. It's the way it is. You know, we could sit here and moan about it, but it's not going to change nothing. You know, let's be honest. That's the way the WWE have operated, and the way they're always going to operate. You know, it's. I've seen someone else saying they're giving him a push because they're heading for a tour in India. Yes, they possibly will head for a tour in India, but they're only heading for a tour in India because they've noticed that Impact Wrestling did tapings in India, and they're doing a tour because Impact did it. Because they don't want Impact to steal more Indian fans on their product. It was a business manoeuvre. It wasn't a manoeuvre because they wanted suddenly just to go to India. It was a manoeuvre done because of what Impact doing. Same with this whole UK Championship. That was done because they knew World of Sport was coming. You know, I'll tell you a little saying. There is independent wrestlers being signed to the WWE that the WWE are not using. But they've got these guys on contract, so they can't appear at World of Sports and stuff like this. You know, the WWE are not stupid. They're really not stupid. You know, the WWE is run as a business. And it's been run as a business for a long time. You know, it's not a wrestling company anymore. You know, you want a wrestling company, you look at Impact Wrestling, you look at Ring of Honor, you look at New Japan. That's a wrestling company. The WWE is a sports entertainment company and a business. No, actually, sports entertainment business. And that's the way that the WWE runs. They look at profit. You know, they look at merchandise sales. You know, if someone starts doing really good merchandise, most of the time they get pushed or they get pulled down. You know, look at the whole thing of Ryback when Ryback said he was outselling John Cena, and John Cena didn't like that. Which do you know what? I can believe that, because John Cena is in real life an arrogant person. So I kind of believe that. You know, I'm not going to say here and say, you know, as everybody knows, when I do these shows, I say it how it is. It's how I've always done it. I've always been honest and open. You know, I won't sit here and say fake news or bullcrap, because, you know, we're all wrestling fans here. You know, we watch wrestling because we're passionate about wrestling. You know, we don't watch wrestling. You know, we watch it because we're passionate and we're enthusiastic about it. You know, but it's for me, it's just getting hard to be enthusiastic about Raw. I know that sounds really bad, but I'm just, like I said, I'm completely honest. Because, I'll be honest, it does get frustrating. You know, I want every wrestling product to do well, because the more wrestling products that do well, the more places wrestlers have to work. And that's the way I look at it. And I think that's the way it should be looked at. You know, it's not, but it's the way it should be looked. I had loads of good points to say now, and I've just totally forgot a lot of them. What do they call it? A brain fart. There we go. That's what I'm going with. Now I've had a brain fart. Yeah, I was saying about Carmella and James Ellsworth, where I don't think that she should have had the briefcase taken off her, because I believed it wasn't against the rules. I think the WWE could have gone a better way with this. Could have kept her with that and gone with the angle where she gets a lot of heat from everybody, from heels and faces. She gets heat for what she's done, you know, and really they could have used that heat more and more on her and built her up around it. But anyway, after that, we saw New Day walking with a skeleton with an Uso top on, which I didn't really think that was funny. I'm getting slightly bored of New Day. I know there are going to be people here that are going to say, "Oh, New Day." Sorry, I'm getting bored. I find them tedious. I think that gimmick's gone on for too long. You know what? For example, I think Kofi Kingston is a phenomenal talent, and I want to see him go out on his own. I don't want him to see him propping up the New Day. You know, even Xavier Woods, I think, is a phenomenal talent, and I think he would probably be better going on his own. I've said this for a long time. There is a lot of guys that I believe would probably be better off going and running on their own. Said it for a long time. I do believe it. You know, I think a lot of the members of New Day are outgrowing New Day. Like I said, I know there's probably people that's going to disagree with me, but that's how I feel about New Day now. I really don't like being mean. I'm trying to be, you know, trying to come out with positives about New Day, but it's hard because, to me, I feel like New Day's had its day, let it die, move on. That's how I feel with New Day, and I think that's the way it should go now. Because, yeah, I just think like I've just said, it's had its time, and that's how I feel about it. But like I said, that's my opinion. But anyway, we saw Big E taking on Jimmy Uso, which actually was quite a good match. We did see Big E get the victory in this match, but again, it was a good, solid match. Can't fault it. I do like the way the Usos are now. I think since they've gone heel, they've been a lot better than what they were. Because I did start to get frustrated and bored with the Usos, with the characters the Usos were playing. But now I enjoy it, which is weird. I don't get bored with with them anymore. Like I used to. I'm trying to think. God. See, the reason I'm struggling, God's sake, I'm struggling even more because of this heat. I'm sitting here now in front of the fan doing this show, and I'm still, it's unbearable. At the minute over here, it's over 30 degrees. It's scorching. It's been like this for the last 3 days. I've got a nice tan though, but it's, you know, sitting in front of the computer doing this show, it's getting harder to do in this heat. But luckily, it's cooling down. We saw Randy Orton promise to hurt Jinder Mahal. Not really much to it. It was just an interview with Tom Phillips, basically saying he's going to hurt Jinder Mahal. Because people that didn't see it, in the Money, I think it was Money in the Bank, that the Singh brothers went after Randy Orton's dad and everything else, which has stirred up this rivalry and built it up more. Actually, I will give it. The way they have built this rivalry up is actually pretty good. I still don't believe Jinder Mahal is champion. I've been very, very vocal about that. I just get bored of the WWE. Yeah, I'm trying to be nice here about this, but I really can't. I really can't be nice. But like I said, I'm open and honest with you guys, and I always have been. But yeah. Another interesting match was Shinsuke Nakamura taking on Dolph Ziggler, which is probably a rematch from Backlash. It was an alright match. Nakamura came off really well in this match. The way they're doing Nakamura at the minute, I think they're building up for him either going for a US title or main title run. We saw United States Champion Kevin Owens doing an open challenge to anybody. AJ Styles came down and Kevin Owens said no, it's the people from this area. So Chad Gable came down and said he's just moved here. Bit weird there using Chad Gable on a solo run when American Alpha are meant to be together, they're meant to be a team. I don't get that part. I really don't. I don't get it. I don't know if it's me being stupid. Or if it's... I don't know. I don't get it. Probably a lot of you are going to probably say it's just me being stupid, but hey ho. Yeah, I just don't get it. You know, an American Alpha are probably as good as the Usos, but again, they just feel badly used, underutilized, stuck in boring gimmicks. You, like I said, just used incorrectly again. You know, they're suddenly there, they're suddenly not there. It's like, hey, how did that work? Do you know what I mean? I think the way they're using American Alpha is wrong. But anyway, we saw Chad Gable taking on Kevin Owens. Chad Gable was going over. And that's what surprised me. It surprised me that they made it that close and that good. Especially for, you know, just an open challenge match. But Kevin Owens managed to get the victory, and then you saw AJ Styles staring at Kevin Owens, which is probably going to be a build-up to AJ Styles and Kevin Owens going against each other for the US title, which I think would be an amazing match. But the match I do want to see is Shinsuke Nakamura, AJ Styles. I think we deserve it. I think that we need it, and I hope they hurry up and give it to us. Because to me, it'd be an absolute, sorry to say this, but I'm going to say it, phenomenal match. I think it's something we need. I think we need a good, solid match like that. And I just hope that's the way they're going to go. You know, we can all have hope, but I'm hoping it's the way they go. Because I don't think it's fair if they didn't go that route. Like I said, as wrestling fans, you know, we do deserve better, but like I said, we've just got to take what we're given and deal with it. Because things ain't going to change overnight. That's the way it is. But yeah, it was a good match. I've already covered this about the taking the Money in the Bank away from Carmella, but yeah, that happened where we saw Daniel Bryan in the ring where he made his decision. We saw Jinder Mahal taking on Luke Harper, which was a bit random. Again, it was just a random matchup. There was no reason for this matchup. I'm not saying it was bad, but it weren't good either. It was meh. It was okay. If I'm going to be honest here, it was an okay matchup. You know, I can't criticise it, and I can't be positive about it. It was a very to and fro matchup, which it normally is. But then after the match, we saw Randy Orton come down, attack Jinder Mahal and attack the Singh brothers. Really took out the Singh brothers. I do think we're going to have the Punjabi match come back, and I do believe it's going to be Randy Orton against Jinder Mahal. I really do think that's happening. I know a lot of people don't want it to happen. I don't want it to happen, to be honest, but I think that's the way it's going to go. But at least in that type of match, it keeps the Singh brothers out. That's the way you've got to look at it. But overall, it was a good SmackDown. I'm not going to sit here and say it was a bad one, but it was a lot better than previous weeks. You know, I can give it its due there. But yeah, that's it. We're back on air Monday at 3:30 PM, covering everything Impact Wrestling, with my co-host Charles. So I want to say a big thank you to everybody listening, and I'll see you again on Monday.